Okay, so check this out. It all started on November 6, 1983, right? Hawkins, Indiana, you know? And there's a scientist dude in this government lab running from something. He's in an elevator and boom, something from above wrecks him, like gone. So then there's this kid, Will Byers' little dude, got that Dungeons and Dragons energy, you know? He's rolling dice fighting Demogorgons with his homies, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas. Total nerd squad. Anyway, after the game, Will's like, I'm out, got a bike home, and bam, something spooky from the woods snatches him up. Kid just vanishes, man. Gone faster than my cousin Ernesto when the bill comes. Next day, his mom, Joyce, single mom, works too hard, smokes too much. She's like, my boy's missing. So she calls up the local sheriff, Jim Hopper. Hopper's all chilled, like, don't worry, Joyce. Most missing kids turn up. Bro's totally underestimating the situation. Meanwhile, over at that creepy lab, the head honcho Dr. Brenner, he's poking around the basement where this gooey alien snot is all over the walls. Dude's like, find the girl. She can't have gone far. Then out of nowhere, this little bald kid shows up in the woods wearing a hospital gown. No shoes, no coat, just pure chaos energy. She wanders into Benny's diner, right? He's like, yo, what's your name? And he sees a tattoo on her arm that says 11. So Benny's like, okay, 11 it is. He tries to help her, calls social services. Big mistake, because Dr. Creepy Hair's people show up and boom, they kill Benny. But 11, she's like, nope, and uses her mind powers and escapes like a Jedi. Meanwhile, Joyce's phone goes biz. She hears breathing, static, and then, Mom? She's like, that's my boy. Then the phone fries. Literal sparks. Mike and the gang, they're out searching for Will in the woods. And what do they find? 11. Just standing there all spooky and silent. So they bring her back to Mike's house, right? Mike's like, we tell my mom you're a runaway. And 11's like, nope, bad man gonna zap me. So they hide her in the basement. Then Jonathan, Will's older brother, goes to see his deadbeat dad, Lonnie. Dude's useless, doesn't even care. Meanwhile, Hopper finds Benny's dead body in this shredded cloth in the woods. And he's like, huh, that's not normal. Then 11's like, yo, that Will kid, he's in the upside down. She even uses the D&D board to show it. She's like, he's hiding? Will's like, from who? And she's like, Demogorgon. And the boys are like, bro. While all this is going down, Mike's sister Nancy's at a party with her boyfriend Steve and her bestie Barb, who's like, I don't want to be here. So Nancy's upstairs doing, you know, homework. And Barb's chilling by the pool. Then boom, the Demogorgon's like, surprise. And poor Barb's gone. So she wakes up in this straight up nightmare world. Like everything's slimy, foggy. It's the upside down, bro. Like Hawkins. But if Hawkins had the flu, so she's freaking out, right? She's like, where the heck am I? Trying to climb out. But boom, out comes the Demogorgon and just snatches her again. Poor Barb, bro. Meanwhile, Joyce, yo, she's full on losing it. But like smart crazy, you know? She's talking to Will using lights. And he's talking back. She's like, Will, baby, is that you? And the lights are blinking like Morse code from another dimension. Bro, she's out here doing paranormal home decor. Then my man Hopper rolls up to Hawkins' lab. He's like, let me see the footage from that night. And the lab guys are all, sure, totally normal footage. Nothing weird here. But Hopper, he's like, that night it was raining, but there ain't no rain on that footage. So he starts digging, finds out about this shady dude Brenner and some top secret freak show called Project MK Ultra. Turns out this dude was doing mind control experiments back in the day. And this lady, Terry Ives, said Brenner stole her daughter. Like, yo, this ain't just a missing kid story anymore. This is something crazy. Meanwhile, 11's having flashbacks, bro. She remembers Brenner. Dude's making her hurt this cat with her mind. And she's like, nah, I don't want to do this, papa. Cut to Steve. He finds out Jonathan's been creeping around with the camera, got pictures of him, Nancy, and Barb by the pool. Steve goes full jock rage mode and smashes the camera like it owes him money. Nancy finds one Barb's picture, all alone, right before she disappeared. So she goes back to Steve's house, right? Finds Barb's car, still there, untouched. And then boom, Demogorgon cameo. She runs, barely makes it out. Bro, she almost got barbed. Meanwhile, Joyce is doubling down on the light show. She's got this whole Christmas light Ouija board going on. Letters on the wall, bulbs everywhere. She's like, talk to me, Will. And the lights start blinking out letters. R-I-G-H-T-H-E-R-E. She's like, what should I do? Then it spells run. And bro, the wall starts moving and the Demogorgon starts pushing through like it's coming out of a gross sci-fi birth canal. Joyce, she dips out. Now Mike, Dustin, and Lucas, they're like, yo, 11, where's Will? And she leads them to Will's house. Bro, that's not helpful. But then they see the cops roll by and follow him, right? And what do they find? A body. Everyone's freaking out. Mike's like, what's wrong with you? And dips. Now Hopper's with the squad at house and house is all normal. But Joyce, she's like, my boy's not dead. He was talking to me. 1 blink for yes, 2 for no. And something came out of wall, but have no face. Hopper's like, chick's gone crazy. Now everybody's all crying and lighting candles because they found this body at the quarry and they're like, R.I.P. Will Byers. But Joyce, yo, she ain't buying none of that. She's like, that's not my boy. But Mike's all in his feelings. He's like, 11, how could you lie to us? But then 11's like, hold up, and boom, she used her power and Will's voice starts coming through Mike's walkie-talkie and Mike's like, what's that? And I was like, Will. Then the boys, geniuses that they are, start scheming. They're like, yo, what if we use the big radio at school? The Heathkit ham radio. Maybe 11 can tune into Will. So they gave Ella makeover to sneak her into school. Nancy goes to Steve and she's like, Barb's missing. This is serious. And Steve's like, okay, but like my dad can't find out. Bro, he's more worried about getting grounded than a missing girl. Nancy's like, you know what? I'm done with your nonsense. So she runs to the cops, right? Tells them the whole story. But they're like, team party pool? Sounds like bad parenting. Back at lab, Brenner sending a guy to the other side. But alarm starts blaring. Dude's like, there's something in here. They pull the wire that all came out bloody. Meanwhile, my man Hopper, yo, this dude's connecting dots like a detective in a conspiracy movie. He finds out the coroner who usually does autopsies got sent home. And he's like, something smells off. And it ain't just that body. So he tracks down the state trooper who found Will's body and just lays hands. Bro, straight up beats the truth out of him. Dude finally cracks and says, they made me lie. Cut to Nancy. She's looking at that creepy picture Jonathan took, right? And behind Barb, there's this thing, bro, all blurry and gross. Jonathan's like, yo, that looks like the thing my mom described. And Nancy's like, wait, my bestie's missing. And there's a monster photobomber. Back with the kids. They sneak in 11 into the school so she can use this giant ham radio. She's concentrating hard. And then static, Will's voice again like, Mom? And Joyce? She's at home, hearing the same own thing, bro. She's like, Will? And the wall's talking back. She rips off the wallpaper and sees her son inside the wall crying for help. And Hopper, my man, goes to the morgue, opens that body, and yo, it's full of cotton. Fake body, straight up stuff like a Build-A-Boy. So he storms over to the Hawkins lab, cuts the fence, sneaks in. Like, what are y'all hiding in here? When bam, out of nowhere, these dudes in hazmat suits jump him. Whack, lights out. Next thing you know, Hopper wakes up on his couch at home, like he just lost a weekend in Vegas. But he's suspicious, man. He's like, wait a sec, how'd I get here? So he starts tearing his house apart, flips his couch, checks bulb, and boom, finds a hidden microphone. He's like, oh, snap, they've been listening. Meanwhile, our nerd squad, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas are like, yo, let's get some answers. So they roll up to their science teacher, Mr. Clark. They're like, yo, Mr. Clark, how do you get to like another dimension? And he's like, well, theoretically, if you tear a hole in the fabric of space-time, you could create a gate. So now the boys are like, let's find that gate. They find out their compasses are acting weird. The gate would mess with magnetic fields, right? So if they follow the magnetic field, they got the gate. But 11, yo, she's stressing. She's remembering that time they dunked her in that freaky pool at the lab, sensory deprivation tank, and Brenner's like, listen for the Russians, child. And she's like, okay, papa, all shaky. But instead of Russians, bro, she hears monster noises, the Demogorgon. So she's like, nah, I'm not doing that again. And when the boys are following their compasses, she freaks out and messes with them, makes them spin the wrong way. Lucas starts connecting dots. He's like, she's using her powers, and I was like, it's not safe. And then, boom, they start throwing hands. Then 11's like, enough. Flings Lucas with her mind. Dude goes flying, lands in the dirt. Mike and Dustin are trying to wake Lucas up like, yo, you good? Meanwhile, 11 just runs off. Cut to Nancy and Jonathan. They're out in the woods hunting the Demogorgon. And then Nancy spots this thing. It's like a tree, but it's breathing. So she crawls through, ends up in the upside down. And it's nasty, bro. Like cobwebs, slime, and monster noises everywhere. Sees the freaking Demogorgon and runs. Jonathan's outside yelling Nancy, trying to find her, but the gate's closing. Nancy hears his voice and goes towards the gate. Jonathan grabs her and yoinks her back. So later that night, Nancy's all freaked out. Jonathan stays to give her company. Totally innocent, just safety vibes. But yo, Steve shows up trying to make amends. And what does he see? Nancy and Jonathan through her bedroom window. He's like, bro, she moved on that fast, and dips out, heartbroken and mad. Meanwhile, Joyce and Hopper, they track down this lady, Terry Ives, and yo, she's just sitting there catatonic. Her sister Becky's taking care of her, and Hopper's like, what happened to her? Becky's like, oh, she was part of this government mind control thing, Project MK Ultra, you know? The one where they gave people LSD and said it was science? And Joyce is like, wait, what? Then Becky drops the bomb. Terry was pregnant during all that, and she swears Brenner stole her baby because she had powers, and that baby's name, Jane. Back with Nancy and Jonathan, they're like, yo, let's take this monster down. So they hit up the hardware store like they're prepping for an apocalypse. Bear traps, gas, nails, the whole deal. They're like, the Demogorgon loves blood, so let's use that. Totally sane idea, right? Then Steve pulls up and starts talking trash, like real trash. Will's dead and Nancy's a wham. Jonathan's like, say that again, and boom, they're throwing hands on the street. Cops roll up and arrest Jonathan. Meanwhile, our girl 11, she's out here surviving. Walks straight into a grocery store and just yoinks a bunch of Eggo waffles. Cashier's like, hey, and she's like, no. Boom, gone. So Mike and Dustin are out looking for her. Little dudes on their bikes. Oh, where's Elle? When these two bullies show up, they're like, yo, Mike, jump off the cliff or your boy dies. Mike's about to do it, all dramatic. And then 11 shows up like a superhero. She breaks one bully's arm with her mind. Dude's screaming, Dustin's cheering. 11, she's drained, man. She collapses, full on faint. And while she's out cold, she's remembering everything. Brenner making her talk to the Demogorgon in that creepy black water tank. And she's like, oh no, I opened the gate. I'm a monster. She's crying, bro. Pure guilt. And Mike's like, nah, you saved me. But yo, plot twist. Lucas spots something bad. Government vans, agents rolling deep. They found 11's location and are setting up an ambush at Mike's house. He's like, yo, they're coming. And bam, those vans roll up like surprise kids. So Mike's like, we gotta dip. They grab their bikes and they're pedaling like crazy. And then one van cuts them off, right? It's rolling in fast. Dustin's screaming. Mike's panicking. And 11, yo, she straight up flips the van. Like 360 air flip. Boom, crashes behind them. They keep riding, hearts racing, and end up in this junkyard. Broken cars, weird smells, classic hideout, right? Lucas is like, yo, my bad for doubting you. And 11's like, I'm sorry too. And they're like, friends again. Meanwhile, Nancy and Jonathan, they roll up to Joyce and Hopper like, yo, listen, there's a monster. We've seen it. It's got no face, eats people, the whole thing. Then Bully shows up with his mom, and Hopper's like, wait, 11's with kids. So now they all link up at the Byers house. Full squad assemble. They use Will's walkie-talkie and contact the kids. So they're like, all right, 11, can you find Will and Barb? And 11's like, I can try, but yo, I'm drained, okay? So they all sneak into the middle school, and they're like, let's build a DIY psychic chamber. 11 steps in, closes her eyes, and boom, she's in the upside down again. She finds Barb, but poof! Barb's gone. Then she finds Will, still hanging on, hiding inside his little fort. She's like, found him, he's alive. Joyce and Hopper waste zero time, man. They bust in that lab, action movie style, but immediately get tackled by security. Hopper's like, bro, I can explain. Wham! Handcuffs. Meanwhile, Nancy and Jonathan are doing their own thing, sneaking into the police station to grab all those weapons they bought. Bear traps, bats with nails, gasoline. Bro, they're ready for war. And back in the upside down, my dude Will is in his little fort, clutching his walkie, scared out of his mind. And the Demogorgon's like, here's Johnny. Bam! It breaks in. Hopper, my man's going through it. He's haunted, man. Like full emotional baggage. You find out his daughter Sarah passed away from cancer years ago, and ever since, dude's been carrying pain. So when Brenner, that creepy papa dude, offers him a deal, Hopper's like, fine, take 11, just let me save the kid. So Brenner's like, cool, and he lets Hopper and Joyce go into the upside down. They're armed with flashlights and oxygen masks. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Nancy and Jonathan, bro, they're doing something crazy, cutting their hands to bait the Demogorgon. Like, hey monster, come get this limited time blood buffet. And right when things are about to go sideways, Steve shows up, guilt on his face. He's like, hey guys, I'm sorry. But then, bam, the Demogorgon pops out the wall and everyone's screaming. Steve freaks out, grabs the bat, and starts swinging like he's Babe Ruth versus evil. Nancy's blasting it with a gun. Demogorgon's stuck in bear trap, and Jonathan light the gasoline. Demogorgon's on fire, screaming like burnt calamari, and then it yeets itself back into the upside down. Meanwhile, 11 and the boys are chilling at the middle school, and then, oh snap, Brenner and his goons rolling like, all right kids, field trip's over. But 11, bro, she ain't playing. She takes out like a whole SWAT team with with her mind, pure carnage. Then she collapses. Brenner's closing in, all smug like, gotcha now. But karma don't miss, bro, because boom, the Demogorgon crashes the party. Turns out it smelled all that fresh government blood. It's like, ooh, buffet time, and just wrecks everyone. Brenner, probably dead. The boys, they grab 11 and dip, cut back to the Upside Down. Hopper and Joyce are in the creepiest library ever. There's Goo Fog and, oh yeah, corpses. They find poor Barb just, yeah, it's bad. Then they find Will, pale, unconscious, and bro, he's got a monster noodle down his throat. Hopper rips it out, goes full lifeguard mode, and does CPR. Will coughs, gasps, boom, he's alive. My dude's back, but the Demogorgon's not done. It's back in the school, cornering the kids. Everyone's screaming, and then 11 wakes up like, sup, sucker. She looks at Mike, says goodbye, Mike, and obliterates the Demogorgon, like dusts it. Poof, both of them gone. Just silence. So now Will's safe. They're at the hospital, everyone's happy. Christmas lights twinkling. 1 month later, it's all snow and cocoa. Nancy's back with Steve, and everybody's pretending life's normal again. But then, plot twist. Will's washing his hands like la-di-da, and suddenly, cough. He spits out this slug from the Upside Down, like a demonic loogie. Then he looks in the mirror, bam, quick flash, the Upside Down version. He's like, that's not good, and then goes back to dinner like nothing happened. Wow, so that's it, but don't ghost me, okay? So now's the time, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And you have subscribed, right?